The forest was quiet in the early morning. A thin mist hung between the birch trees, and the air smelled of wet leaves and mushrooms. The sun had only just climbed above the hills, painting everything gold and soft gold. Wolf walked slowly along the narrow path, an old wicker basket swinging on his arm. His grey fur was still damp from the night, and his big boots made no sound on the moss. He hummed a little tune under his breath, the same one his grandmother sang when they went mushroom hunting long ago. Today was a free day, a real holiday, and he wanted nothing more than to fill the basket with white mushrooms and orange chanterelles, then go home, fry them with potatoes, and eat until he fell asleep in the armchair. A little farther ahead, on the same path, Har moved just as quietly. His ears were lowered so the dew would not drip inside, and in his paws he carried a small linen bag. He loved this autumn mornings more than anything. Everything was calm, no one chased anyone, no one shouted. Just him, the forest, and the mushrooms hiding under the leaves. They met at a small clearing where 3 old pines grew. Wolf saw Har first. He stopped, raised one eyebrow, and smiled, not the usual white pretty smile, but a small, almost shy one. "Good morning, Zаяц," he said softly. "Good morning, Волк," Har answered, and his voice was warm, without fear. For a moment they just looked at each other. Then Wolf lifted his basket a little. "Going for mushrooms?" "Yes, and you?" "Too." They stood a little longer. The mist slowly rose. A woodpecker knocked somewhere far away. Har scratched behind his ear. "The best mushrooms are over there, behind the stream. But the bridge is broken." Wolf nodded slowly. "I know. I wanted to go around, but the long way takes an hour." Har looked at the basket, then at Wolf, then at the path leading to the stream. "We could go together," he said quietly. "The short way. I know where the lock is. It is wide. We won't follow." Wolf talked for a few seconds. Then he smiled again, even after this time. "All right." They walked side by side. Not fast. The path was narrow, so sometimes Wolf stepped aside to let Har pass, and sometimes Har waited while Wolf lifted a low branch. No one hurried. No one spoke much. Only the leaves rustled under their feet and the birds sang high above. At the stream they found the fallen log. It was thick and covered with green moss. Har went first, carefully, arms out for balance. Wolf followed, holding the basket in one paw and the log with the other. Halfway across, Har slipped a little. Wolf instantly stretched out his big paw. Har took it without thinking. Their paws were warm. They crossed the rest of the way like that, paw in paw, and neither let go even when they stepped onto firm ground. On the other side the forest was especially generous. White mushrooms stood in families, proud and clean. Golden chanterelles hid under fern leaves. Har and Wolf knelt, side by side, and began picking quietly. The baskets and the bag filled little by little. At one point Har found a huge mushroom, almost the size of his head. "Look, Volk," he whispered, as if loud words could scare the forest. Wolf looked and lied quietly. "That one will take half the frying pan." They worked until the sun was high and warm. When both baskets were full and the linen bag would not close, they sat on an old stump to rest. The mist had gone. Dragonflies flew above the grasses. Somewhere a cuckoo called. Wolf took out a small thermos from the bottom of his basket. "Tea," he asked. Har's eyes lit up. "With mint, with mint." They drank from the same cup, passing it to each other. The tea was hot and smelled of summer. Har leaned back a little and said, almost to himself, "It is good when no one is chasing onion." Wolf was silent for a long time, looking somewhere into the treetops. Then he said, very quietly, "Yes. Very good." They sat like that until the cup was empty. When it was time to go back, they again crossed the log together. Again held paws, just in case. On the other side, at the edge of the clearing where they had met, they stopped. "Well," said Har. "Well," said Wolf. The baskets were heavy, the bag was tight. The sun was already warm on their fur. "Thank you for the company," Har said. "Thank you for the log," Wolf smiled. They looked at each other once more. Ten Har waved his politely and walked along his path. Wolf watched him for a few moments, then turned and went along his own. But Bot walked slowly, very slowly, as if hoping the forest path would never end. And high above, in the clear autumn sky, the sun shone gently on the two baskets full of mushrooms and on the two quiet, warm huts that had spent one morning without chasing, only walking side by side. Exactly 1200 words.